Alrighty, folks, horrible day yesterday. Let's do better. Phillies, Yankees, 105 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia's minus 120. Totals 9.5. Ranger Suarez on the bump for Philadelphia. Marcus Stroman for New York. Stroman's 2-1, and the Yankees are typically tough to hit against at home. They're allowing just 6.9 hits a game at Yankee Stadium. They're also winning 60% of those home games. Now, oddly enough, the Yankees saw 60% of those contests at home stay under the total. Phillies with unders in 65% of their contests on the road. I like the Yankees in a bounce back spot. Give me New York plus $1, under 9.5. Guardians Royals game 1. 2:40 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's minus $1.20. Totals 8.5. Michael Wacha for the Royals. Gavin Williams for Cleveland. Williams is 6-4 with an ERA in the 3s. He also punched out 106 batters this year. And as a team, the Guardians have been playing some pretty good baseball over the past few weeks. Winners of 7 out of their last 9. Doing a nice job against divisional opponents. Cleveland's currently 17-8 against the AL Central. 9-3 in those divisional road games. And at the plate, the Guardians have done a nice job making contact with the baseball. They're in the top 5 in fewest strikeouts on the road. Jose Ramirez leads the roster in homers and RBI. OPS in the 900s. And Stephen Kwan with double-digit stolen bases, on-base percentage of .352. And they're facing a Royals team who actually has a losing record against divisional competition themselves. They've been terrible at the plate. The Royals are averaging just 2.9 runs a game at Kauffman Stadium. And no real surprise, the Royals currently have a losing record. They have a losing record in front of their own fans. Michael Wacha comes into today's matchup with a 4-9 record on the season. I like the Guardians plus $1 in game 1. Blue Jays Tigers 6:10 Eastern start. Detroit's minus $2. Total 7.5. Tarek Skubal for Detroit. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. Gausman's recorded 7 losses this year. Does not have a winning record. And at the plate, the Blue Jays typically struggle on the road. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game in their travels. And they're facing a Detroit pitching staff who's in the top 10 in strikeouts per game. And we could see more of the same out of double-digit winner Tarek Skubal. 10-3 record on the year, 164 strikeouts. No real surprise, the lefty's got an ERA of 2.19, whip of .81. Of course, when it comes to the total, both clubs with unders in 6 out of their last 10, respectively. Give me the Tigers minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. Diamondbacks Pirates 6:40 East. Arizona's $1.35. Totals 8. Merrill Kelly for the D-backs. Andrew Heaney for Pittsburgh. Now, Heaney's punched out 74 batters, whip of 1.31. The Pirates got the W in 3 out of their last 4 ball games, doing a nice job getting the W at home this year. Pittsburgh currently has a .639 win percentage against National League competition at PNC Park. And at the plate, O'Neal Cruz has the most homers in the lineup. Brian Reynolds leads the clubhouse in ribbies. And they're facing an Arizona squad who dropped 3 out of their last 4 themselves. Pitching has not been great in their travels. Arizona's in the bottom 10 in runs allowed on the road. Now, 6 out of the D-backs' last 10 meetings with the Pirates did get over the total. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. I like the Pirates plus $1.15, over 8. Rays, Reds, 6:40 East. Cincinnati's $1.25. Totals 9.5. Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati. Ryan Pepio for Tampa Bay. Now, Pepio's got 118 strikeouts and a 1.16 whip. Of course, as a staff, Tampa Bay's been tough to hit against when they travel. They're limiting opposing sluggers to just 7.4 hits a game on the road. They're facing a Cincy lineup who's definitely struggled with strikeouts in the box. The Reds are in the bottom 10 in strikeouts per game at home. And out of their last 10 meetings with the Rays, Cincy's averaged just 3.6 runs a game during that stretch. Having a tough time scoring against these guys. Now, no real shock here. The undercashed in 80% of those head-to-head gatherings I just mentioned. Rays saw their last 4 straight on the road stay under the total as well. Give me Tampa Bay plus 105, under 9.5. Braves, Rangers, 705 East. Texas is $1.25. Totals 8.5. Kumar Rocker for the Rangers. Grant Holmes for Atlanta. Holmes is just 4-9. Lots of walks for the righty. Of course, as a team, the Braves are currently on a 3-game skid, and they do play their worst baseball on the road. Atlanta's got a .360 win percentage when they bat first. And they're facing a Texas squad who's definitely been tough to face at Globe Life Field. They're 32-20 in their own building. Just 7.1 hits a game they give up on their own diamond. Of course, at the dish, Adolis Garcia leads the lineup in RBI. Corey Seager on base percentage of .373. Give me the Rangers minus $1.25. Rockies O's, 705 East. Baltimore's minus .260. Totals 9 runs. Trevor Rogers for the Orioles. Antonio Sensatella for Colorado. Now, Tony's just 4-13 with an ERA of 6.41. As a staff, the Rockies allow more runs a game than any other team. Nearly 11 hits a game they're allowing on the mound. They're facing a Baltimore club who's done a nice job against Rocky pitching. The O's averaged 5.6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Colorado. Ryan O'Hearn on base percentage of .374. Holiday and Henderson tied for the club lead in hits. 2 out of the O's last 3 at Camden Yards got over the total. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Rockies. I like Baltimore minus 1.5, over 9. A's, Astros, 7:10 Eastern start. Houston's minus 210, totals 8 runs. Hunter Brown for the Astros, Jacob Lopez for the A's. Now, Lopez is just 3-6 on the year. A's have definitely struggled at the plate. The Athletics are averaging just 3.9 runs a game on the road. Bottom 10 hit-producing lineup in their travels. And they're facing a Houston pitching staff who's been challenging to hit against in their own building. The Astros are averaging nearly 11 strikeouts a game in front of their own crowd. They're also limiting opposing teams to just 3.7 runs a game. The starting pitcher Hunter Brown's been no exception to that. He's 9-4 with an ERA of 2.57. The righty's punched out 144 hitters and currently has a .99 whip. Now, 6 out of the Astros' last 10 ball games did fall under the total, 63% to the under in all of their contests at home this year. I like Houston minus 1.5, under 8. Cubs, White Sox, 7:10 Eastern start. The Cubs are minus $2, totals 8.5. Cade Horton for the Cubs, Aaron Savali for the White Sox. Now, Savali's just 1-4 with the Southsiders this year, ERA of 4.66. And as a staff, the Sox are walking more batters a game than any other staff besides one. Bottom 3 in strikeouts per contest. And they're facing a dangerous Cubs lineup of sluggers. Chicago's a top 3 run-scoring team in the league. 9.5 hits a game on the road. P. Crow Armstrong, 27 homers, 74 ribbies. Matt Bush, 60 RBI. OPS in the 900s. 7 out of the Cubs' last 10 gatherings with the Chi Sox got over the number. Sox games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I like the Cubs minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. All right, Marlins, Brewers, 7:10 Eastern start. Milwaukee is... What are we doing here? Is this not listed on the big screen? Am I missing something? Yeah, not on the big screen. That's wild. Huh. Anyway, Marlins, Brewers, 7:10 Eastern start. Weird. Milwaukee's minus 170. Total is 8 runs. Jose Quintana for Milwaukee. Jansen Junk for Miami. And as good as Junk's been, the Marlins do tend to pitch poorly on the road. Miami is allowing over 5.3 runs a game in their travels, and they're facing a Milwaukee lineup who's nearly in the top 5 in runs per game, doing a nice job producing runs. Christian Yelich, team leader in homers and ribbies. Bryce Terang, on-base percentage in the 300s. Of course, as a team, the Brewers now have a .647 win percentage at American Family Field. I'll tell you, if they get into the postseason, you do not want to face them in their own building. Now, 3 out of Milwaukee's last 4 home games did get over the number, 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. I like the Brewers minus 170, over 8. Next game, Nationals Twins, 7:10 Eastern start. Minnesota's 225, totals 8.5. Joe Ryan for the Twins, Mitchell Parker for Washington. Now, Parker's got a handful of wins on the year, and Washington does have a winning record in their interleague road games. Of course, when it comes to the run line, the Nats are covering in 62% of their away games against American League competition. And a lot of that is thanks to the bats. The Nationals are a top 10 run-scoring team on the road. James Wood, 24 homers, 70 RBI. C.J. Abrams, 20 stolen bases, OPS in the 800s. And they're facing a Minnesota club who failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 home games. Having a tough time pitching at Target Field. The Twins are in the bottom 10 in runs allowed on their own diamond. And when it comes to the total, 3 out of Washington's last 4 on the road did get over the number, 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. All right, Guardians-Royals game 2, 7:15 East. Kansas City's minus 135, totals 8. Chris Bubich for the Royals, Tanner Bybee for Cleveland. Now, Bybee's just 1 strikeout shy of the century mark, whip of 1.22. Of course, as a team, the Guardians got the W in 7 out of their last 9. 52 total runs they scored during that span. And out of their last 10 gatherings with the Royals, Cleveland's averaged nearly double-digit hits a game. And they're facing a KC lineup who's arguably the worst in baseball. The Royals are averaging just 2.9 runs a game at Kauffman Stadium. I like Cleveland plus $1.15 in game 2. All right, Dodgers, Red Sox, 7:15 East. Boston's minus 145, totals 8.5. Garrett Crochet for the Sox. Clayton Kershaw for Los Angeles. And even though Kershaw's thrown well, there is a chance his bullpen could blow it for him. LA is in the bottom 10 in runs allowed per game, and much of that is due to walks. The Dodgers are in the bottom 5 in walks per game on the road. And we're looking at a Boston club who's got no problems getting base runners, especially at Fenway. They're averaging nearly double-digit hits a game in Beantown. Alex Bregman, OPS of 896. Romy Gonzalez, OPS of 876. Of course, as a team, the Red Sox have done a nice job against National League opponents. They've got a .688 win percentage in their interleague home games. Now, total-wise, 7 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I like the Red Sox, minus 145, over 8.5. All right, Padres, Cardinals, 7:15 East. St. Louis is $1.45, totals 9. Matt Liberatore for St. Louis, Randy Vasquez for San Diego. And both pitchers come into today's matchup with losing records on the season. Cardinals with overs in 3 out of their last 4 at Busch Stadium. Of course, at the plate, both teams with a handful of guys who can get on base. St. Louis is a top 10 run-scoring team on their own field. Ivan Herrera with an OPS in the 900s. Wilson Contreras leads the lineup in runs batted in. Meanwhile, the Padres on the other side, well, they're doing a terrific job making contact. They're in the top 3 in fewest strikeouts per 9 at the plate. Manny Machado with 63 RBI, OPS of 844. Fernando Tatis with 22 stolen bases, on-base percentage of 365. Now, total-wise, Cardinal games went 60% to the over in their last 10. I like the over 9 runs. Mets, Giants, 905 East. San Francisco's $1.20, totals 8. Robbie Ray for San Francisco, David Peterson for New York. And as good as Peterson's been, the Mets do tend to struggle on the road. They've got a losing record when they hit first, bottom 10 in hits per contest. And I'll tell you what, Oracle Park's been a tough place to score at. San Francisco allows just 3.9 runs a game on their home field. And starter Robbie Ray's been a big contributor to that. 9-4 record, whip of 1.13. The lefty's also struck out 131 batters and currently has an ERA in the 2s. Now, total-wise, the Giants have seen nearly 60% of their home games stay under the total. Mets with unders in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. I like the Giants minus 120, under 8. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Mariners, Angels, 938 East. Seattle's $1.45, totals 8.5. George Kirby for the M's, Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles. Now, Anderson comes into today's start with just 2 wins on the year through 107-plus innings. The lefty's 2-6 with an ERA of 4.43. As a staff, the Angels have certainly had control issues. They're walking more batters a game than any other team. 5.1 runs a game they give up at Angel Stadium. And unfortunately for them, they're facing one of the best road-hitting teams in the game. Seattle averages 9.8 hits per contest in their travels, 5.4 runs a game on the road. Cal Raleigh, league best 39 homers, 977 OPS. J.P. Crawford, on-base percentage in the high 300s. Of course, as a team, the M's are now 20-13 against AL West competition. Now, total-wise, both squads saw overs in 6 out of their last 10, respectively. I like the Mariners minus 145, over 8.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Yankees plus $1, under 9.5. Guardians plus $1, getting the job done in Game 1. Detroit minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. Pirates plus $1.15, over 8. Tampa Bay plus 105, under 9.5. Rangers minus $1.25, getting the job done for some money line cash. Orioles minus 1.5, over 9. Astros minus 1.5, under 8. Cubs minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Brewers minus 170, over 8. Nationals plus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Guardians plus $1.15 in Game 2. Red Sox minus 145, over 8.5. I like the over 9 in that Padres-Cardinals matchup. Giants minus 120, under 8. And give me the Mariners minus 145, over 8.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. Of course, that's why I always tell folks that Gold Club membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive package. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. Certainly not a great day for us yesterday. It was pathetic. I feel like a piece of shit. It was horrible. Bad week, man. Lost some 80s icons. Lost a bunch of games. It was bullshit. It was a bullshit week. Absolute trash. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. I feel like a piece of shit. Anyway, folks, most importantly, I do have to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.